All right, so I built my radio tower, right? And that used up 275 of the 500 supplies. Now I'm just sitting here waiting to build this field hospital. And you could see that my supplies are ticking up because I built that radio tower. Now I'm going to wait until it hits 300. I'm going to build a field hospital, and then there will be extra storage for those supplies to generate into. What that means is that if I come back to this base in like 20 minutes, instead of it having 500 out of 500, it's going to have 1,500 out of 1,500. And my ability to come back here a second time and build 4, 5, 6 buildings in one pass, a bunch of fucking walls, a bunch of AI, a fucking helipad, spawn a fucking helicopter, whatever you want. It's a free 1,500 supplies. If you don't use it, you're wasting it. If you do use it, you're fucking helping the game to make more. A base like this that's out in the remote will only generate up to 1,500 supplies. If you ever see a base sitting at 1,500, your maximum priority should be to go there and burn through it with anything that you deem useful. But before I go, just let me give it an opportunity to debrief here because, I know that I kept sending people to the back to like go do those 1,500 supply bases, and maybe you guys were doing that and not really understanding like why it was happening. But I hope now that you've seen that game play out to fruition, you guys see just how insane it is when we've got 8, 9, 10 bases that are constantly just churning out 1,500 supplies, but not just that we are constantly going back there and consuming them. All of our rear line bases, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we were getting fucking rolled. Oh, definitely go America again. They're always going to need the help. Go Russia when you want to AFK and win. That's what I always say. But I don't know if you guys realize, but like the Russians were rolling through us real hard there, like, you know, for the first 2-3 hours. And like they were taking over more than half of the map. And when it went nighttime, and I was like, all right, everybody just stop attacking, ignore Nebraska, ignore the command truck, just go back and do those supplies. Their momentum fell massively because even when we're not there defending, if the base capture takes like 6 minutes instead of 45 seconds, that's huge for us. That gives everybody else much more time to react. And when you guys are continuously visiting those posts and building up those bases, that's how you get those long cap timers. And without having to sit there and run a fucking supply truck for 3 hours trying to get enough supplies. Like you could play the game on the front line while you're doing logistics. You just got to keep going back every now and then. So attack until you die, go back, build something. Keep attacking till you die, go back, build something. And with like the 8 or 9 or 10 of us that were doing it, I hope you guys see how effective that was. Is anybody thinking that had nothing to do with it? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And that's why I love Reforgers so much because I have a very large community with a really tight-knit common interest that binds us. And a lot of the games that we play don't have room for us. Like, you know, if I take everybody into War Thunder Sim, I'll fill up a lobby, no problem. But then there's going to be like 10, 12, maybe even 15 people sitting on the outside of the lobby like, I can't join. And I'm getting all these messages like, hey, man, I want to play with you, but there's no room. And I'm like, I can't do anything about that, man. Like, if I leave the game and make a new game for you, then I'm just going to leave out somebody else that was in the game. You know what I mean? So, like, whenever I see games that have those larger player limits and don't limit you to those like 4-person squad sizes and stuff like that, and they really allow like stuff like what Angel has. Like Angel's basically running like the same kind of crew that I've got going on, where it's like 5, 6, 7 people that are just killers, and they don't mind doing the nitty gritty work. And it's like, to be really good at this game, like you don't have to be super good at first person shooters. That's what I love about it, because I'm not great at them. I can fly okay, and I can read the map pretty good, and I can talk just fine. But like when it comes to shooting people, I'm like, oh man, I freak out, right? But like that's not what makes you good at this game. What makes you good at this game is like effective communication. We're gonna insert full team on Entre Deux. You guys are all gonna move to the tower, focus on securing it. It's probably camped. I want you guys to try to spread out, approach it from multiple directions along a tree line, and then just send one guy in to actually reprogram it just in case they put C4 on. Let's have Cobra be the sacrificial lamb, and if Cobra gets C4'd, we'll send fucking DetectiveJake in next.
Copy.
All right, guys, we are getting really close to Entre Deux. I'm going to be inserting you on the west side. West side, Entre Deux. It's off of our 1 o'clock now.
RPG one for those.
Hey, look at that water tower. Watch the water tower. I saw an explosion at the water tower.
Right now would be the perfect plan to release the sleeping guy, but we shall keep him in the helicopter as our mascot. He is that mascot.
Alright, go, 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 go. Nice job, nice job.
Yeah.
Remember, secure the tower first. Don't rush the panel, cover Cobra. And, like, understanding that, like, logistical, strategic meta and realizing when you need to let something go and hold on to something desperately. All right, anyone who died spawn Oklahoma now. Anyone who died spawn Oklahoma.
If they're camping at Shy, layback.
I'm smoking it.
I'm gonna try to distract with the helicopter. If I get shot down, don't mean shit. I need you guys to live. Hopefully they fire RPGs at me. Yes, we're capping again. Good job, whoever spawned Georgia. You're saving it.
Is radio clear? Can I reconfigure?
Reconfigure, reconfigure.
I'm
Do it, do it, do it, do
reconfiguring
it.
it right now.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Let's
down.
go. They're firing the shit out of the helicopter. Use this distraction. Get that shit done. Let's fucking go, boys.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go, boys. All right. Tower Entredu, exfil northwest, where I dropped you off. If you guys can fight there, great. And be able to read the map and be able to, man, if we come back here, if we came in here and we just pinched this little thing right here and we cut that off or we destroyed their radio tower, that's going to fuck them over here. And then all that shit that, like, you know, because they got like 3 tanks over there, man. Instead of taking those 3 tanks out, let's just go knock off their supply lines. I love that. And I love being able to, like, fly around with my boys, you know, like dudes like Cobra and shit like that, where they're just like, they're right where I need them. If I give them the information in enough time for them to react, they'll be there for me. And I'm like, hey, Cobra, I need you at Arizona. I need you to grab a radio pack, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to pick you up. I need you to load as many supplies in the helicopter as we can, and then jump aboard, and I'm going to take you over there. And Cobra's like, bam, on it. And I arrive, and he's standing there, and he's like, and he hops on. He's like, where are we going, Chief? Like, I can do a lot of stuff with that. And it's not necessarily me that has to do it.
A little close to a tree there, Wang.
Copy? Which tree?
Just behind you.
Behind it.
And
Copy.
there's a tent right,
Very helpful.
tent
Thank
right
you.
below. Recommend moving to the right.
Right side? Copy. Setting it down.
Never.
Fucking beautiful job, guys. Thank you for the spot. Only thing that I ever ask is that, like, if we have 8, 9, 10 people on an attack and you guys are moving into a base, and here, let me actually pull up the map. This is another thing I do. If you guys have multiple monitors, I recommend you do the same thing. This is my Microsoft Paint. I just open this program, and what I do is at the beginning of the match or whenever I join the match, you can see I joined this match kind of late. I'll just take a screen cap of the map, and then I'll throw it in Paint, and I'll put this on another monitor so that I can continuously reference the code names and stuff like that. But if you guys saw me talk about like those 1,500 supply bases and stuff like that, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about, man? What I do is when I spawn in and I say, look in the rear for bases that have 1,500 supplies, I'm talking about going back here. Like, I mean, I'm talking like the actual rear. I want you to like, okay, I was on that attack of 10 people heading for Nebraska. I was the first one to get clocked in the head. It's probably going to be a while until we can regroup and regather and mount up a new attack unless we got a radio pack down or something like that. So in those instances, when you're the first one to get downed, it's not over for you. What you got to do is instead of trying to like spawn as close as you can and hoof it back or, you know, try to get a helicopter to pick up one dude, what you do is you die on the attack and then you start looking at all these bases and you hover over Louisiana, you hover over Utah, you hover over Maine, Maryland, Nevada, all these little tiny points that nobody thinks about. They're just in the back. Nobody cares about them. They might go there, build one radio tower if you're lucky, and then they'll fuck off and they'll never go back there again, right? Wrong. What we do is we look for like Louisiana sitting, it's got a radio tower, it's sitting at 500 out of 500 supplies. You go there and you build storage, and then you build anything else that you can, and you get it down to 0 supplies, and then you leave. And like, and if you have a cheap kit, you build what you can, and then you just respawn. You just end it all right there. And if you're feeling froggy, if you're feeling like doing another one, redeploy to another one and just highlight over it again. Okay, oh, Maryland is sitting at 500 out of 500 supplies. Let me go. What you want to do, your number one priority is to get radio networks up everywhere. Every single fucking base should have a radio network because every base that has a radio network will regenerate supplies slowly over time. And it will regenerate like 5 times faster with a radio tower than it will with no radio tower. But the radio network can regenerate up to 1,500 supplies. So your next highest priority, as soon as you get the radio tower down, your next highest priority is to increase the supply capacity of that base by any means necessary. Then, once you've consumed all the supplies, man, build AI, build walls, build machine gun nests, build spotlights, whatever the fuck you want, man. Look, base building is fun. I encourage you guys to just have fun with it. I don't think my way is the best way. It's just my way. It's just the way I've kind of been trialing and erroring it. But I think that a lot of people can come up with a lot of unique ideas on how to use certain structures in fun ways. And I think the way that people come to those conclusions is they just fuck around with it and they accidentally find stuff. They're like, oh man, if you remove the sandbags from the back of a bunker, it actually can, make it easier to do this and this, and then you can connect this structure. Find shit like just have fun with the base building. The base building is a lot of fun, but it's not like if you build out a base, nobody's gonna come by the base and be like, "Oh, this base is stupid," and fucking you put that, like, motherfucker. Then why didn't you come back here and do it? Nobody was gonna do this. I came back here and do it. Eat my ass. You know what I mean, right? So have fun with your base building. Just prioritize that radio tower and that storage, and then all you gotta do from that point forward for the rest of the fucking match, you will never have to run supplies. You will never have to fucking wonder where you're going to get your next helicopter from or your next radio backpack, because you will have fucking a dozen bases just sitting at 1,500 supplies. And every time you die on attack...
Where'd the heli land?
It landed down the beach. It's like...
Oh, shit! Your number one priority is to look through these bases. Louisiana's at 1,500, Utah's at 1,500, Maryland's at 1,500, Iowa's at 1,500, and you have 4 guys that just died on the attack. The 4 of you should not spawn on Connecticut and buy a Jeep and immediately drive to attack again. The 4 of you should spawn 1 on Louisiana, 1 on Utah, 1 on Maryland, 1 on Iowa, and consume 6,000 supplies as quickly as you motherfucking can, and then just redeploy. And then you go to Connecticut and you fucking drive a truck out of there. And by the time you finish that next attack, those 6,000 supplies that you used up here in this back line perfectly safe, you had all the time in the world to place structures how you wanted and put the lights and dig things down, right? And then you go on an attack afterwards, after you've consumed that 6,000 supplies, 20, 30 minutes goes by in your attack and you die again. All 4 of those fucking bases will be sitting at 1,500 supplies again. You got another $6,000 to burn right there, and not a single person touched a supply truck the whole time, right? It's powerful. And all you need is like a half dozen people who are going to listen to you enough to understand the point of it and then execute it without having to be micromanaged, you know what I mean? Because it's just a lot. And when I'm looking at where to spawn, that is the only thing that I'm looking at. Unless there's something super particular that I'm trying to do, and people are like, where are you going next, Wing? And I'm always like, hang on a second, let me figure it out. That's what I'm figuring out. I'm looking at the map and I'm like, okay, Nevada's at 793 out of 1,500, and Iowa's at 1,500 out of 1,500. I'm going to Iowa, and I'm going to go use 1,500 fucking supplies, and then the next time I die, I'll probably go hit up Nevada, because it'll be sitting at 1,500, and Iowa will be sitting at like 300. So... anyway, that's just a little crash course in like kind of what we were doing and how it works and why it's so effective, especially for the American team, because you're going to see a lot of supply wastage and stuff like that. You're going to see a lot of people like burning supplies on helicopters. Where do you guys see people pulling helicopters from more often than not? Typically purple bases. You'll see them departing out of Arizona, Oklahoma, Connecticut, Kansas. The bases that are sitting on like 6, 7, 8,000 supplies. That's where people will go and spawn helicopters. So you maybe get like 4 or 5 helicopter spawns out of that, and then you got to start running supplies to the base, right? If you got 3 or 4 noobs on your team slamming helicopters into the ground every 45 seconds, you're going to go through that pretty quick. But if you have a dozen bases that can regenerate 1,500 supplies in your rear line network, and they're super defensible because they're built up so they take fucking forever to cap, and they're defended by AI right? Like, and they're sitting on 1,500 supplies. Anybody that can spawn a helicopter can go to any one of those bases at any time and just be like, boom, attack chopper. I spawned like 7 attack helicopters at the end of the game there. All of them fucking paid for by the work that we did in the first hour of the game. I got like 5.5 hours worth of flying without touching supplies, you know, and without wasting like purple base supplies. Those are going to get wasted by people anyway. So we try not to contribute to the wastage, and we try to figure out like, you know, a lot of people play dress up and Barbie doll at the armory and stuff like that, and they get sniper rifles and rocket launchers, and most people waste it. But some people are good at this game, and some people do need sniper rifles and heavy machine guns and rocket launchers because they know what to do with it. So it's not about like being like, oh, nobody should have anything. Like, no, it's just not everybody should have everything. And that's why you see me running around default all the time, because I try to set the example. And like, you know, I get people hopping out of my helicopter and they're like, hey, do you mind if I go get a new gun at the arsenal? I'm like, go if you want, but when this helicopter's ready to go, I'm not waiting on you, man. Like, we're going. Like I'm not gonna hold 6 guys watching you play dress up. And when you have a small unit, 5, 6 guys that stay default and they're rapidly redeployable and they don't mind being like, oh shit, like we need 3 or 4 of us to respawn Oklahoma to help the defenses. And if you only cost 20 to spawn in, that's really not a big deal. And you got access to helicopters and like logistics and rides, and you can zip around the map pretty quick. It's not a big deal to just fucking knock yourself out. So anyway, guys, that's just a little bit about how I run things and why I run things the way that I run them. And like, I guess the big thing I'm trying to do is just like teach it so that more people do it, because it's not really rocket science, but it is like super effective. And it's been one of the best ways that I've seen that you can make these games last for insanely long periods of time.